Hashem Svasai Tiftach Uviagito Asacha. We're now in the fourth parak of Daniel. In this parak, we have a continuation of the letter that Nebuchadnezzar, in the last three psukim, who inflates and recognizes the strength of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he continues with the dream that he's having in this letter. And in this dream, he's very frightened. Now, he's not frightened, he says, I'm not in a bad place in my life. I'm actually I don't have enemies. I don't have anything that could put into my thoughts anything negative. I am on top of the world. I am flourishing. But yet, this dream is so terrifying. Can someone please tell me what the answer to my dream is? And he gives that order to all of the wise men of Bavel. He doesn't give it to Daniel because he doesn't think he needs Daniel, because he remembers the dream. And so because he remembers the dream, he says, I don't have to take out the big guns yet. And so ultimately he calls his magicians and his exorcists and all of the people. Now, they can't interpret the dream because it doesn't come from the stars. It comes directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They can only read into what comes from the stars. But finally, they realize that they can't make meaning. La mahon len. They can't make meaning. It's not known to them. And the reason being, either they really don't understand it or they are petrified, because this dream is not a good one. And finally, Daniel comes and in the name of Hashem, he says and relates to the dream, and he says the following. This dream that baffles me, please, Daniel, tell me the meaning. And in this dream, Nebuchadnezzar relays that he sees a tree, a huge tree of great height and midst that goes all throughout the earth. And the tree is mighty, and its top reaches the heaven, and it's really visible to the ends of the earth. And its foliage is beautiful. It has fruits. It has food on it. It is able to sustain the birds of the sky and the beasts of the field, and all of the creatures feed on it. And he looks and he sees that there's that holy thing coming down from heaven again. And it says to it, you are going to be stripped off your foliage, and your fruit is going to scatter, and all of the beasts are going to flee from beneath you. And it's only going to be left, your tree is going to be left as a stump, roots in the ground that is iron and bronze and can't move. But please let the grass of the field and the dew will be drenched on this. It kind of turns away from the tree. Now perhaps it's a person, and now you're going to turn into a beast, and the beast is going to be different than the human man, and you're going to have a mind of a beast for 7 seasons, and this has been decreed. It's a verdict from the Holy One above, and all of the creatures are going to know, and everyone is going to know that you then became the lowest of the low. And so that is ultimately this very interesting and unique dream. Now, Nebuchadnezzar is afraid because internally he knows this isn't good. He also knows that he is the tree. And we can understand when Daniel is going to be explaining what exactly this means. And he is looking in earnest. Now, Daniel is perplexed, and he takes an hour to really think things through. Why does he take long? Perhaps HaKadosh Baruch Hu, was giving him different layers upon layers, and he had to process all of it. Perhaps we learn that in life, one shouldn't go into anything important in an impulsive type of way. Or he was really afraid. He's afraid because this is a really difficult situation that he's going to have to explain to the king that of what this dream really means. But ultimately, the king reassures him and says, please, don't be alarmed. I really need to know. And so now we're going to understand what this tree is. The tree that we understand was the downfall of mankind. We've mentioned it from the other Megillos, right? The Eitz Hadas. The idea of the tree of the Eitz Hadas is that I want to be the all-knowing, the Das. I want everything. And so the tree represents that he thought of himself in an egotistical, maniacal way, and that he was mighty because he was, and his entire kingdom spans from one end of the world to the other. He's on top of the top. Remember, he is the top. He is the head honcho. He is the top of the statue, and he is mighty. But it's all not only is it needed in the earth, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs to continue to give him sustenance. Otherwise, while he did, his foliage was beautiful. The fruit was abundant. And it mentions the birds, that the branches of the birds in the sky. And that reminds us of that famous midrash that we've mentioned many a time, which is that we are compared to birds, because birds can soar high up in the heavens. We can reach the highest pinnacles. But what happens when a bird is no longer has its wings? And then it's really nonsensical. It stoops down to the lowest of the low. A non-flying bird is just a very low creature. And so too here, we flew, we were lodged inside. He had us as well. He had everything. But what happened? That just like in the time of Bavel, they wanted to reach HaKadosh Baruch Hu for Hashem, for themselves. He wanted it all for himself. And in the end, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy Watcher, is going to come down from just like he did in the first dream, and he knocked Nebuchadnezzar down. And Nebuchadnezzar did not grow from that experience. Instead, he built that statue, a huge golden edifice. And so now that's also going to go. And you're going to be chopped down. But not only are you going to be chopped down, you're going to be stuck in a terrible, terrible, terrible punishment. And that is, you're going to go nuts. You're going to become an animal. You are going to be the lowest of the low. The qualities that we share with malachim and with animals are 3 of the malachim and 3 of animals. From the malachim, we have da'as, we have Talmud Torah, we have essence. We can make something of ourselves. But Nebuchadnezzar didn't do any of that. So now he's going to really solidify his relationship with animals and become like an animal. And he's going to lose all of his rational thought and his cognitive capabilities for 7 seasons. Now, that actually happens. But when it's happening, so what happens in this case is that Daniel then says, okay, so here's what you could do, right? You could do tshuva. It's going to come to you for sure. But I have another idea for you. You don't have to. My advice is just redeem yourself. Do tshuva. And how do we do that? Generosity to the poor. Ubitzedakah purak. If you give tzedakah, then you will not turn into an animal. And this befell King Nebuchadnezzar, and that's what he did. For 12 months, he was good. He gave tzedakah. He opened up the granaries for his people, and he was able, and we've done that before. We learned when we were doing the Megillos, that what is it? What do we learn from? At the end of the day, we go in Koheles. Everything goes, but not our chasadim, not our good deeds. You could be redeemed. Tzedakah tatzil mimaves. We have an understanding. And if Nebuchadnezzar could do it, of course, the message, Ladoro says, of course we can. You could do tshuva, and that's what he did. And for a whole year, he was fine. And then one day, just like David HaMelech, walking this roof situation, he's walking on the roof. He thinks of himself, maybe that's literally, but maybe that's figuratively. He is thinking of himself as everything. Damele Elyon, I am everything. I am God. I am in the royal palace. And what does he do? He says, this is great Babel that I built, my power. I'm in this situation because I am amazing. I created my reality, and pitom, it's done. As soon as he says that, what happens? It was decreed, and now he is driven into animalhood, and he becomes a beast, and he's going to be fed grass like a cattle, and for 7 years, he literally goes and becomes nuts. And that's exactly what happens. He becomes an animal in his mentality, in his, he grows talons, he has crazy hair like the eagle's feathers, and he just becomes, and again, what does he become out of all the animals? A bird. Because a bird is exactly the highest level and then becomes the lowest. And then that's exactly what happens for seven seasons. Now, why is it that Daniel wanted to help Nebuchadnezzar? Now, perhaps he wasn't really trying to help Nebuchadnezzar. Perhaps he was trying to open up the gates of food and allow the granary and for us to have, and he knew that, listen, let me at least get something out of this. But some say that he's punished, and he is punished because of the idea, he becomes hasach, that he is lower than, because of the idea that he shouldn't have done it. He shouldn't have helped. There's no reason that you're not supposed to help a huge Russia. But the message is so clear. Ibn Nebuchadnezzar, who is the worst of the worst, could do tshuva, could see God, could see the hands, can last, and to understand that what is it that you have to do is chesed, kindness to other people, and kal v'chomer us. How much more so we who are not Nebuchadnezzar, we who definitely can be better people. Of course, we, number one, should never assume that everything that we have or anything that we have comes from ourselves, but rather it's in service of Kadosh Baruch Hu. And second, we can always do tshuva. We can change. We can change the trajectory of our future. Hashem is looking for that. He wants us to change. He wants us to be the best people that we can be, and he never gives up. If he could have mercy on Nebuchadnezzar, then truthfully, mercy can be given to anybody. And so in this parak, we have Daniel interpreting the dream of a Russia, but really, all of us have to have emunah and bitachon and know that we have to do things the best that we can in the service of Hashem to help people and to come closer to Hashem. And if we fall, do tshuva. Be kinder. There's always a way to repair. There's always a way to come back. There's always a way to say, what have I done? I don't want to be a beast. I don't want to be an animal that just gets and gives food, and it's all about the giving and getting for myself. I don't want to be Adam el Elyon. I don't want to be compared to Hashem in that way. I want to be in the service of Hashem. I want to help. I want to do good. I want to be good. And so, unfortunately, for us, Nebuchadnezzar does recoup. He becomes okay after 7 years. And Daniel, who just like Yosef, was able to give advice to the king, but the advice to a Russia is that it's never going to conceivably go in internally and process forever. But we have a lot more of a capability for it to make an impression on us and to last forever.